And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening, as always. It's Wednesday, February 4th. It is 2024. And as always, we have lots to cover. But let me state for the record, yesterday we went coast to coast talking markets. And I must tell you, I got a lot of feedback thanking us for talking markets and only markets, which tells me, I don't know. I guess when we do politics, you don't like Mr. Logic? You gotta like Mr. Logic. Anyway, what we promise going forward, we'll do lots of markets. And when need be, we will interject with the Morlocks and them trying to destroy our lives, both sides of the aisle. And I know those on the right will say, what are you talking about? Trump's the greatest. And those on the left saying, Trump sucks. We do it without any bias, agenda, ulterior motive. And just yesterday, nothing really stuck out. Nothing really stuck out. So we decided to do markets. And today, we'll do as much markets as possible. But first, and by the way, we hope you listened yesterday, because I think everything we told you yesterday pretty much came to fruition, even more today. But we do have some near-term, I wouldn't call them changes, let's call them tinkering. We're going to tinker a little bit with a couple of things, and then we'll take it from there. Okay. Again, if you do not get this radio show in your city, we will post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, all you got to do is be nice. We'll also post it on the YouTube channel of BizTV. So, for weeks and weeks and weeks, there have been some mainstays on our thoughts on the market. What are some of the mainstays? Number one, crypto is in a bear market. It wasn't dropping. It's not don't worry. It's in a bear market. And by rule, bear markets will go farther and longer than anybody expects. By rule, all the tout artists will tell you every day's the bottom. By rule, it'll decide for itself when it wants the bottom. By rule, when everybody gets bearish, we'll look to see if it's getting better. It didn't get better today. Had another rough day, but I will tell you this. You know Bitcoin hit 125, right? 125,000. And you do know I do believe it is under 75,000 now. I'm about to tell you. Bitcoin price, 73,467. Some investment outfit came out today and said it was going to 38,000. They didn't tell you it was going to 38,000 when it was 125,000. They didn't tell you that when it was 120. They didn't tell you that was at 110 or 100 or 90 or 80. They're waiting for 73,000 now, telling you it's going to 38,000, whatever. We'll pay attention to the market. The woman, you know that woman, 2 days ago called for 1.5 million on Bitcoin by 2030. It now has to go up more than 20-fold for her to be right. And I find, and I'm going to be very careful with my words. For my industry, That disgusts me. It disgusts me. It pisses me off. Why? Because they parade her like she's George Soros when her main fund is down over 50% since 2021. And if one person has been acting on her protestations, by the way, she's been saying this for a while, that's one person too many. So we're just letting you know it remains in a void. I'm actually surprised. There's been no let-up. But then again, not surprised in that we told you specifically, if the 8 to 9 weeks of the recent lows get taken out, it will invite more selling. And that's exactly what it did. The low was 46.68. Of those, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks. It closed at 41.57 today. That's IBIT. It's one of the proxies. And, listen carefully, new yearly lows. Did you hear that? New yearly lows for Bitcoin. Want me to repeat that? It's at new yearly lows. Ethereum, not new yearly lows, but close. Ethereum has gone from 39 to 17, 40 to 17.5. So that is more than 50%, obviously. And Bitcoin is now in the 40s. And I want you to remember a few things. Those people you're seeing telling you to buy every day, they don't know. They're in prayer mode now. Do you understand that? They don't know if it's going to go back to 125 or go to 38,000 like somebody predicts. I don't know. But guess what I do know? It's in a bear market. And until it stops, it's in a bear market. And we hope you listened. Another part of our equation that was very loud by us weeks ago, not yesterday, not a week ago, weeks and weeks ago. In fact, we started beating the drums on Oracle, and we were just questioning every day, what the hell is going on with Oracle? How is it possible they've got $400 billion in backlog and the stock is crumbling? Well, Oracle, the break of the 50-day was at 277. It's 146. But we knew before then, we thought the break of the $300 mark was trouble. And then Microsoft, the break of the 50-day was at 514. It's 414 now. So you add up Oracle and Microsoft, the two head honcho top dog big cheeses, and then there's Salesforce.com that topped out over a year ago. And then you add in Adobe that has crumbled more than a year ago. Those are the big four, but you got to add one more, and that's SAP out of Germany, and that topped out badly at 313, and it's under 200 now. So once it broke the 50-day, we're on this show and telling you, avoid software. And as usual, we told you, we have no idea how bad it gets, how far it goes, but we're really scratching our head on Oracle and Microsoft because we keep being told they are the AI receivers and you know what I'm talking about. And then little by little, piece by piece, inch by inch, they broke them all. They broke them all. From Intuit, to ServiceNow, to Workday, to Synopsys, to Autodesk. I can go through the whole frickin' list, and they have just been destroyed. With the IGV, that's an ETF. It's dropped from 118 to a close of, let's call it 84. That's 34 on 118. 30% up next, where it stands, and we're going to tinker a little bit. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, let me tell you what happened in the last day. While we're telling you for weeks and weeks to avoid software, all of a sudden I see everybody talking about how bad software is. And the reason is news came out that the reason this is going on is because this company Anthropic is doing things with their AI that is blowing the doors off of companies in the AI space, this, that, and the other thing. And as usual, the pundits, everything's fine. No worries. While they're getting crushed. But I noticed it was getting reported. And reported. And it got very noisy today how bad software has been. After a 30% drop for the ETF. There are stocks down 50 and 60. Famous Palantir was down 12% today. That's gone from 207 to 140. Last I looked, 207 to 140, that's over 60. Oh, that's over 30%. So here's a little tinkering. Typically, after a drop and then all of a sudden it's being reported left and right, maybe we'll get some bounces. Maybe we'll get some counter trend. You know what the problem with that is? Something down 50 and bouncing 10 is still in a bear market and still in a void. So that's a little tinker. I don't know if it will occur or not, but typically, once it gets noisy to that side, we'll see. Yeah, maybe I'm not tinkering. Anyway, software is in a bear market, and just what they're telling me. And just so you know, there is a something called SaaS, which is software as a service. What it is, it's cloud-based model that delivers applications over the internet on a subscription basis, where the providers manage security and infrastructure and things like that. And the worry is all this AI will take the place of that. And while some things bounced today, let me give you a few that didn't. AppLove and APP down $74 to $387. Palantir down almost 19 to 139. That's just a couple. Just a couple. Others did bounce. Intuit was up $11. There's only one problem with that. Intuit in the last 3 weeks dropped $160, which, by the way, boggles the mind. So, software remains in a void. Recently, we told you that gold and silver felt climactic, and that big 2 down days felt like that was it for now. And we said to you, I think we're going to get some backing and filling, some time and price. They rallied it up, was strong early, not so great late. I'm just thinking you're going to need to be patient in here right now along those lines. That's all. Patient. I'm not sure if the final move is in. What I am pretty sure of near term, the high of the last week, going to be tough to get through anytime soon. But we do know it is gold and silver, and we'll see how it goes. Next, we have been telling you that the lower beta value type areas have been getting the money flows. And I have to tell you another day of it today. And let me state for the record, I'm actually surprised about how much territory some industrials, materials, and the like have covered in recent days. We took a void off oils weeks ago and have been telling you recently, boy, there's some things in new yearly highs. That's another area. We call it our stuff area. It's oils, retail, housing, transports, travel, economically sensitive. Even consumer staples have been doing better. Guess what happened today? The Dow up 260, the NASDAQ down 350, the NASDAQ 100 down 447 today. Money flowing out of tech, money flowing in to the stuff. That is what happened today. Best way I can explain it. Out of one, into the other. And again, some of the moves from me, wow! Wow. If I tell you that something like W.W. Granger, which broke out yesterday, I think I mentioned it, up another 3.5% today. Or a Carlyle reports a 13% drop in earnings, 0% sales growth, and it goes up 11% today. Stuff. If I tell you Ryder broke out above 200 2 days ago and is already up 6%. Norfolk Southern, Federal Express, J.B. Hunt, Union Pacific in the transports. Old Dominion Freight reports an 11% drop in earnings, a 6% drop in sales, up 10% today. Stuff. So we're just letting you know, money's flowing into stuff. I hearken back to William O'Neill telling me one day, if they start buying stuff and selling growth, you're getting close to trouble. All I know is in real time, for the stuff, no trouble. But I got a few more things to mention. They came after the semiconductors today. Dropped at 347, was down 500. The semiconductor index cracked the 21-day moving average today pretty handily. That's to be watched. Do you know why? I told you, with how weak software is, if they come after the semis, that's it for the NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100. It will take out the 50-day. We'll explain that up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge. So, the NASDAQ today at one point hit 22,684. That is 220 points lower than the finish. Yeah, I didn't even need an abacus for that. The NASDAQ was down 570 today at one time, closed down 350, but still on the icky side, and finished below the 50-day moving average. Just letting you know. The NASDAQ 100 looks about the same. And very simply, if continues to stay below, bad. Get back above, good. Potentially good. And that's the story of that. But the bigger story for me, regional banks. Rails, truckers, some on terrible earnings, firmer retail stocks, oils, firmer but certainly not in the bull market, the housing and housing related, some consumer staples, Pepsi and Coke are at yearly highs. Restaurants, can't be too excited there. Economically sensitive stuff. Yesterday, Illinois Toolworks on single-digit growth. Yesterday goes from 263 to 278 on those earnings, up another $10 today. Let me repeat. Stuff. And we'll see where it goes from here. My middle screen that for a long time didn't even have to pay attention to, it is lighting up like a pinball machine. Let's segue. We warned you, what was it, about, I'll tell you when exactly it was. In around September. We would come on this show daily and say to you these words. Nuclear stocks, quantum stocks, rare earth stocks, drones, robo this, that, and the other thing. Especially the ones with no sales. What you need to know is if nothing changes, they will all go back to where they came from. Now, what that means with nothing changes, if these companies still have no sales. That was September. Every day. Let's go through them. Our poster child was OKLO. Hit 194, which gave it a $30 billion market cap with no sales. It's $68 now. 3 months. 194 to 68. In that realm, there was one name that we told you has been public since like 2003 and still has no sales, but still rallied up because it's involved in nuclear. 31 down to 14 in 3 months. How about 464 down to 251 for symbol LEU? Or how about 61 down to 27 for NNE? And then in quantum, how about 46 down to 20? Just picking a couple of out. How about 19 down to 8? Or how about the drone thing? 21 down to 10. And we are not putting these companies down. We're just mentioning the stocks. For all we know, some of these companies are going to be big time eventually. We're all for that. We root for success, but we also know markets. We also know markets. And our thought process has come to fruition. The rare earth stocks, it breaks our heart that every other week the administration is mentioning a no sales rare earth name. They mentioned one a while back and it went from 20 to 44 back to 11. They just mentioned again, just went from 20 to 32. It's already back to 23. It's got no sales. Here's one that just went from 20 to 12 in the last 8 days in the rare earth. Here's another one, 32 down to 13. You all be careful. We want you to remember something, and this is just fact. This administration and the pals have been promoting crypto, and it's being destroyed. And I'm not just talking Bitcoin. Other coins are down 70 and 80%. They came out with meme coins that are down 99%. You got to watch yourself. There's too much touting and shouting and too many insiders making too much money at your expense in a lot of stuff that has no sales. We just tell you, you have to decide. Rules of the market. We don't care who's backing what. If you're buying no sales companies when the curtain comes down, you are going to lose your arse. And this is not an opinion. It is a study of every bull and bear market going back through time. And it's already happened again in 90 days. And we didn't time it. We said eventually. And we also said we don't know when eventually is. Eventually came pretty damn quick. Now I'm being asked every day, where do I think crypto's going? I don't know. All we can tell you is it remains in a bear market and had another crappy day today. And guess what I saw today? On social media, not making this up, senators asking the president for the government to buy Bitcoin. Really? Quote, some GOP lawmakers push Treasury to buy Bitcoin. You know what has me asking? What senators own a crapload of Bitcoin and they're getting their you-know-what's you-know-whatted and they want government to interfere with it? I will be so pissed off if the government buys Bitcoin. And that'll tell me the corrupt are even more corrupt than I even thought. But they're out there. Senator Cynthia Loomis has suggested to the Treasury Secretary buy Bitcoin. She told reporters last year she raised the idea and would support action under existing executive authority. They have no executive authority to buy Bitcoin with our tax dollars. I hate these people. Hate's a big word. I loathe these people. Up next, we'll wind it up. This is the one only Investor's Edge. In the news, Major League hedge fund manager and a big Republican donor is pissed off about this administration enriching themselves through some very closely knit deals. So obviously, Mr. Ken Griffin has been listening to this show. We don't care who's in the White House. We don't want what Biden did with his family. We don't want to hear, oh, I didn't know anything about it. Of course he knew. You can go read what Ken Griffin said. We don't want to see this. It's tiresome. Just remember, we have no love for anybody. We're no tank. And the old line, don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining when it comes to this. We know corruption and self-dealing when we see it. And you do too. Don't you? In the news, those that listen to this show know that every morning I wake up and the Today Show is usually on. Not that I don't watch the other channels, but I usually watch the first 18 minutes of the Today Show every day. I just want to get a feel for what the networks are. I guess the word is promoting. You know, they promote. So they push certain news to the front. So we like watching a network for 18 minutes. And I don't know if you've seen this story. It is front and center, so you probably have. Savannah Guthrie, the lead anchor, her mother, who's been on the show a zillion times, was kidnapped in Tucson, Arizona, out of her house. 85 years old, infirm, needs medicine, or medicine to live. Blood spatters on the front porch, and in 4 days they can't figure out anything because she lives in Tucson on one of these streets. You know, it's kind of deserty, and there's no lights, so they have no videos, and they don't know what the hell's happened. And I'm just thinking, this poor woman, who the hell in their sick, twisted minds? Now, there's some ransom notes out there. They can't verify whether they're real or not. Who in their sick, twisted minds did this? And man, I hope they find her. But every day that goes by, she's 85, she's infirm. And God, about as depressing can be to see something like that. In the aftermarket, got some news. Alphabet reported. You ready for this? Not making this up. Closed at 333. Got this? 5 minutes ago, it was trading at 326, down $7. It's now trading at 347, up $14 in the aftermarket. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, they reported the market didn't like it, then they said something, and that's the story I got for you on Alphabet. Coherent, that's been a strong name. I got it down $19 in the aftermarket to 192. A weak semiconductor ARM Holdings 104 down to 96. How about Qualcomm? Another weakling, 148 to 134. That's not good. But Google or Alphabet, that one has switched a little bit and is up in the aftermarket. I haven't seen the numbers yet. Tomorrow will be Amazon, who, by the way, Jeff Bezos really getting it today, because I guess they're firing a ton of people at the Washington Post, and all the news is how he's a big billionaire and why is he firing a bunch of people. Whatever. News business is not easy. By the way, Google just dropped $7. So it's now only up six. It's now only up 6 in the aftermarket. By the way, in that minute, it dropped $8. That's like $100 billion in market cap while we speak. And of course, that can change. So, wicked day. Best way I can put it. Revenge of the Nerds Day. I'll see what tomorrow brings. But Revenge of the Nerds. I'm still, and we told you, I'm still able to hold the S&P proxy we bought in late April. Still has not broken yet. Amazingly so, with all the damage some of these areas have had. Quite amazing. And the Dow proxy, still hanging in there. Other things, not so much. Hope we're helping. There were some other things going on today, like space stocks getting hit, but we haven't talked that much about them. And a few other sundry things. Just know that we'll keep telling you leadership avoids, but you get to decide. It is your money. But I will tell you, this year so far, NASDAQ down 1%, small caps up a few. One of the weirdest starts of the year that I've seen in a very long time. And we're just beginning. And as always, if anything changes, we'll let you know. Hopefully the noise out of D.C., there's no hope for that. They're very noisy there. Just keep putting the best foot forward. Software, think it could bounce in a bear market. Be very careful. And we're going to do some studying here on AI and software about why these stocks are crashing, and people are saying it is because of the AI. I'll grant them that. You have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Get working out or something. I need a nap. Good night, all. Bye-bye.